You're funny.
Like I said. Like I said. Like I said. Do you like my tail?
Like I said. I'm here with Lee Priest and Cookie Monster, and who else is here?
I'm wearing my Ride with the Devil t-shirt today. Ride with the Devil.
Ride with the Devil. Wasn't that a
It's actually a song. It's actually a song. A fan of mine. I'm a fan of his. See that? Mickey Magnum. He's from America. He's a rock and roll singer.
Yeah, I remember that song.
He sent me a whole heap of merchandise. He sent me t-shirts and stuff and stickers and bandanas and an LP and CDs and Mickey Magnum. Follow him on Instagram and that. He's a rock and roll.
How come he sent you that? How did he even know about you?
He followed me. Then I saw who he was, so I started following him. And he said I'm a cool guy and wonderful guy, so he sent me some stuff.
That's very cool. Do you even have an Instagram account anymore? You got the new one?
I got a temporary one, Dave.
Yeah.
Guess what? I hit 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
Oh, almost back at 510,000. I'm getting there.
So now,
I got banned. I told you I got banned on Facebook. I'm Facebook banned 30 days. You know how I got this ban? Surprise, surprise.
how?
I posted a letter, an actual letter from the government, because someone wrote to the government saying, your PCR test, how does it distinguish between COVID-19 and Delta? And they wrote back saying it can't, unless you use the super magnifying microscopes. We can't tell just from one of these tests. It just shows you.
You need electron microscope, yeah.
Yeah, but these tests just show you positive for corona. But everyone that's doing these tests is saying Delta. So this person asked the government, can you test for Delta on these? And they said no, so they got official letter back. I posted the official letter from the government, and they said, you cannot post this because this could spread fear amongst people, and that 30-day ban.
Wow. You're definitely on the Facebook, Instagram shit list for sure. They definitely are keeping a close eye on you.
Fucking Al-Qaeda terrorists are here. Fucking Lee Priest is here on the watch list.
Yeah, you're really high up. You must be, because every time you do something, they cut you off immediately. I've never seen you get banned more than what's his name does.
Trump.
Trump got. At least you're not completely banned for life. Yeah, so. You haven't incited any riots yet that we know of, that's for sure.
I'm still waiting for my my grace period. How long have I been off Instagram for? 2 weeks? It was for 30-day suspension to look into it, so then we'll find out the outcome of that.
You're like my son. We have to put him in timeout all the time. You're always in timeout, it seems like. And he always finds a way back out of the timeout room. So that's like you. You start another account. I'm surprised they haven't blacklisted your IP address. That's going to be the next thing.
I know. Hey, guess what? We could be going into here. Well, Sydney now has been in lockdown for 7 weeks. All the gyms are shut.
Right.
Stay at home orders. Some of the bad areas have police and the army guarding the areas, making sure you haven't gone within 10 k's of your house. If you go further than that, you're in trouble.
And you know what? I don't know if you saw the on After Hours. I posted an article that just came out, a big study in South Korea, where they actually showed that exercise, regular exercise, is actually number one, prevents you from getting COVID, and if you do get it, you get it for a much shorter period of time. And the death rate is like almost non-existent. And something like 750,000 people they surveyed.
Well,
only like 50 people died. Who exercised.
We had 4 deaths yesterday. Wait for it. 2 were in their 80s.
Yeah.
One was in their 90s in palliative care. Pretty much once you're in palliative care.
That's he dropped out of natural causes, but they figured out he's COVID positive. We'll put it down.
If they didn't mash up his peas, he would fucking drop dead. But then there was a 30-year-old, and they're like, "Oh, this can even kill 30-year-olds." But then the doctor come on and said, "No, the 30-year-old already had underlying conditions, so it wasn't like the COVID just got him." And then it showed a few people in the ICU on breathing machines. I tell you, Dave, like when I was bulked up, but these people had more chins than a Chinese phone book. They're laying in hospital like fucking Jabba the Hutt on a fucking breather machine. Right. See, COVID is dangerous. I'm thinking, fucking hamburgers are dangerous to that prick. He's fucking so obese and fat, but they don't talk about that, do they?
Well, good news. I did see that Bill Phillips we all know Bill Phillips, MES Nutrition. He was released from the hospital. He really got hit hard. He had gotten COVID for the second time, and he was on a ventilator. I mean, I don't know if Tyler could find it on Facebook. I think it's under Bill Phillips Transformations. His wife took a picture of him. He's like, he can't even walk yet because he was out so long that he has to learn to re-walk. He lost like 50 pounds of muscle, and he was saying that thank God for the fact that he had that much muscle on his body that that's why he believes he beat it. But
did he have 50 pounds of muscle really? Did he?
The bottom line is that he never thought he was going to get hit with it, especially since he had already had COVID. There he is. There, you found the thing.
And now where I live in Newcastle, we've been in lockdown for 7 days. You can only go out if you want to go outdoor exercise, you can walk around, or if you can go to the grocery store or doctors, that's pretty much it. Or if you're deemed a necessity business or job. But now, because we had 14 new cases yesterday in Newcastle, we're going into another week of lockdown. And Sydney's been in lockdown now for 7 weeks. And the numbers are going up. Like they're so restricted down there. But yesterday was 344, which doesn't sound like much. 344 people out of a couple of million. Fucking hell.
Right.
So they're getting worse. They're going to restrict their movements even more. It's like fuck.
I think it's absolutely ludicrous. How come they didn't do this when it's flu season? How come they don't restrict everyone from going out during regular flu season? The restrictions. I believe the restrictions have way more to do with control than with actual reducing deaths.
But it's like you said, if they're worried about your health, because come on, we're worried about your health and safety. Or if that was the case, you wouldn't sell fucking cigarettes, would you? Because you know how the damage they do, whether it be secondhand smoke causing cancers. Yes, sometimes the cigarette may not be the cause, but if someone has underlying conditions like COVID does, or even alcohol, how many people drink, go home, beat their wives, kids, hop into cars, kill people, drunk driving? Go to the hospital on any weekend. Alcohol is the number one thing why emergency rooms are filled up with people getting drunk and shit like that. The government don't give a fuck about your health. Or then if they did, they wouldn't. Like here in Australia, it's the same in America. If you own a bar or pub, you can't, once somebody's drunk, you can't sell alcohol to them anymore because it's illegal. If they do something, then you can be liable and sued and that. So why isn't that the case when obese people go into McDonald's? Don't serve them Big Macs and fucking supersize it. Be like, yeah, I'll give you the McSalad, prick, and a Diet Coke because you're too fat. That's how it should be. If you can't serve alcohol,
I don't know if you remember, several years ago they got rid of the supersize. They actually pressured McDonald's into getting rid of the supersize. Like okay, you know what? I can't get a supersized fries. How about I just order 2 fries instead? I mean, how stupid. I mean, the stupidity of the whole we're preventing from people from getting fat. We're not letting them supersize their fries. Well, you know what? He just ordered 3 more cheeseburgers on the dollar menu instead of the supersized fries. I guarantee you he's not the person who wants to get the food is getting the food he wants.
Exactly. Or all they did was just take the word supersize off, but kept it the same size. So now it's just a large. Right? The large is larger than it was before. It's like you ever see those people used to go into 7-Elevens and get those big gulp thing. It's like this, like a fucking bucket with a handle on it.
Lee,
I'm like, how much fucking soda?
My
do you
kids
need?
do that. I bring them in there after school. I get a little cup because they get the sugar-free Slurpees now. So I'll get a little one. I fill it up. I just want to have something that tastes good. My daughter, who's 3 years old, she's got a cup this big and this wide. And my son, they're running down the Slurpee machine, every flavor. It's overflowing onto the floor. I'm mortified. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, guys, please stop. I'm like, you're not going to drink this whole thing. Why do we need to get a quadruple extra large fucking Slurpee?
The guy in the 7-Eleven gets angry. He's like, excuse me, David, can you control your kids?
No, you know what? They don't do that. They laugh. They think they encourage them. They think it's funny. They don't even care. And then my son's got to get a hot dog there, and he's got, and they don't even. The funny thing is, they don't even eat it. They leave half the Slurpee over, more than half the Slurpee over. He takes one bite of the hot dog. It's like my kids just like to buy shit. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is.
You got to get the cup and then put the dome lid on first.
I won't let them do the dome lid.
Yeah, but if you fill up through the dome lid, then it won't spill out. It'll just fill up to the top.
They fill everything. They keep going until it overflows.
Oh, that's good though. I used to like going to those. Our 7-Elevens here sell all the Krispy Kreme donuts. So
yeah, they get my son gets the donuts. I think that, I let them do what they want there because I know they don't overeat. They like the whole experience of serving themselves the food. And I can relate to. I liked that when I was a kid too. I like the whole idea. You think you're getting over on someone. Oh, hot dog and Slurpee and a candy thing and like I said, if my kids were like overeating, I wouldn't let them do it. But it's more of the buying experience that they liked than anything else.
No,
So
it's more like the taking experience, and you're going to pay for it.
That's right.
What
that's
it's
right.
like. It's like when you take a girl. It's like when you take a girl shopping. She's getting shoes and handbags. Like it all comes from the God or somewhere. That's amazing. I just grabbed these handbags and shoes, and shit, someone pays for it. Unbelievable.
That's right. But that's a $900 purchase. A Slurpee and a fucking Kit Kat is only like $3. And now
Dave,
I don't know if they got here
young.
in Australia, but 7-Elevens here have. I don't even know if they have 7-Elevens there, but they have now an app where you can actually load money onto the app, and if you pay with the app, you get 3 times the rewards points. And I go there every day. I have so many rewards points. I'm getting free shit left and right because my kids are always going there. So they make it easy.
They are fun, those things, aren't they? When you go into those places and you're just going for petrol and come out for fucking everything.
Well, you know what? I don't know if they have this in Australia. They don't take coins anymore. Did you know that? 7-Eleven,
we still do. We've still got
no coins.
They don't?
Nope.
Oh, bloody hell.
You could use dollars, but they don't want any money anymore. Matter of fact, they encourage you to use the app where you can kind of store money in a wallet, a virtual wallet, via your credit card. So you don't even have to take anything out, which means you'll spend more, of course. But, they're trying to do away with money. You know that, right?
Oh, everywhere. I went into a store before the lockdowns happened. I had $100 bill, and the person's like, "Oh, I don't have change for that." I'm like, "You're a fucking, you're a fucking store. What do you?" It's like, Jesus. It's like, yeah. They want you to do tap and go and shit like that. And
yeah.
It's the New World Order. Get Jimmy on. It's the New World Order.
New World Order. So what do you think about? Did you have any kind of relationship with John Meadows?
No, just from what I saw online. Never met him, but seems like he was well liked in that. And people, please, I'm still getting inboxes today on Instagram with my few followers that I have. I still get these messages every day. Lee, did you hear John Meadows died?
I know. I get the same thing.
I'm in Australia, you dickheads. I'm not on fucking Pluto, okay? It's like I do get news down here, all right? It's like fucking. Yes, I do know John Meadows died. Yes. There's been several videos done. I am up to speed on this. Yeah, it is, but they still don't really know what it was, do they? So maybe it'll be COVID.
When you start to see people in our industry,
yes, I do think that,
and that you were like contemporaries with that are around the same age as you, when you start seeing them dying, and we don't know what even caused John's death, but does that worry you at all? Do you start going, "Oh, I better get health checked" or anything like that? Or because I noticed, I started thinking to myself, a lot of people that I know and that I kind of came up in this industry with are gone. They're not here anymore. It's kind of weird a little bit,
Yes, I text my doctor and said, "When did I have my last stress test and ultrasound on my heart?" I think it was only like a year ago, and I had a calcium check probably 8 months ago, and it was low and stuff like that. But but even that night, I'm like, John was 49, I'm 49. As you lay in bed, you can hear you breathing, and you can feel your heart. And then as I'm listening, it's like boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. What was that? What was that pause? What was that pause? Right. And then because you start worrying about it, it gets worse. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, fuck, now I've got arrhythmia. I've talked myself into arrhythmia.
And I got news for you. An anxiety attack perfectly mimics a heart attack, because I have had one of those before. And man, you think you're going into cardiac arrest when you have one of those. And then it makes that even worse because you start stressing and panicking a little bit. I tell people, here's the test. If you think you're having a heart attack, don't go to the emergency room immediately. Drink a glass of wine, okay? If the wine takes the heart attack away, then it wasn't a heart attack. If you still feel the same after the glass of wine, get to the hospital as fast as you can. So that's my litmus.
I always worry about it, but I know with the bodybuilding, I never abuse steroids and that, but then you often think, well, maybe you don't have to abuse them if you're predispositioned to something. Even a small amount could do something. So like I said, you never know, but then I figure, I sometimes look at other people and what they've done. I try and sometimes go, well, fuck, I know what he takes, and he's still alive, and I know he's doing party drugs every weekend, so I should be okay. But then you figure maybe he's got better genetics. He can handle all that shit. Like when you see Keith Richards and shit, you think that fucker would have been dead years ago with the amount of drugs he's done. And some of those rock and rollers, you think, shit, if I did what they did,
time. The clock hasn't, ticked its last tick yet. But you know what? Look, John was a very young man still. He was under 50 years old, and so it's a big loss, for him and his family, obviously. But if I'm like 85 or even 90 years old, and I don't wake up one day, that's the right way to go. I mean, you just don't wake up. I mean, you wake up someplace else. I don't know, wherever you go.
I think I've always said that's the best way to go. Like, I've always said I like to go in my sleep like my grandfather. I like to go in my sleep like my grandfather, not the other three people in the car screaming their heads off. No, but the only thing is, though, it would be nice in your sleep if you're old, but when you're younger, I said to my wife, even just the other day, I said, I'd hate it because, like, say we're talking, I don't want to jinx myself, but say we're talking, I say, okay, Dave, talk to you tomorrow, or you've made plans, and all of a sudden you don't show up, you can't do it. Whereas I said, I wouldn't want to have a terminal illness, but if they said, hey, Lee, you got 6 months, you've got that planning, you can say your goodbyes, you could have a party. Sure. I can maybe go out, commit a few murders on people I don't like. Really leave a lasting impression on the world before I go. Yeah. But that way you can actually say your goodbyes and get things in order. Mm-hmm. I hate like those, like I said, someone might just go to work, get killed in a car accident, or if you're a police officer, you go to work and don't come home. Those sort of things that are sudden, I think that's like a shock. Even though someone's going to die, it's still a shock.
Is it worse? But Lee, is it worse to know that you're going to die, or is it worse to not know you're going to die and then just die? I mean,
I'd rather know, because it's hard to say, because like I said, I guess that's why they say every day you should tell people you love them, or you should talk to people when you can, rather than say, when you always go, oh no, I'll call him tomorrow, I'll speak to him tomorrow, and then like you said, something happens, you're like, oh fuck, I should have called him, or it's just say he called you, you're like, I can't be bothered calling him. I'll give him a call tomorrow. Then all of a sudden they're dead. You're like, oh, fuck. I should have called him back when I had a chance. So there is shit like that. So that is pretty sad. But again, too, he still had young kids, didn't he? So that's always sad as well. So
there's a GoFundMe campaign, Tyler. You can put it up on the screen again, for John and his family, and they raised almost $200,000 already. It's pretty amazing. That just goes to show you how liked he was,
Well, everyone that's done a video on him, even before then, I never heard anyone say a bad word about him. He was always down to earth. He never said a bad word about anyone else. So it's not going to be like when I pass on Dave and there's videos going, that fucking cunt. He's dead.
He got what he deserved.
He was an asshole.
Yeah, I try to think about, I'm like, I don't even want to know what would happen when I die. Hopefully, I don't want any GoFundMes or anything like that. My wife's like, shut up.
He'll be down. Lee's probably down there now playing cards with the devil, that arsehole.
Yeah. We're making light of it, but we're trying to, but John was one of the really liked guys in the industry. And I've talked about this on a couple of shows already, and I think I'm talking about it a lot because it bothers me a lot that he's not with us anymore, and that we lost him so suddenly. Like you said, we didn't expect it. Yes, he had a heart attack last year, but he theoretically recovered from it. He said he was doing well. Yeah. So I don't think anyone expected that we were going to see this happen so suddenly, but you never know. And that's the sad part of it.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing too. It's like also too, it's always, no matter what it is, whether it be in the movies or in life in general, it's always the good and nice ones that seem to go early. Yeah. And then, like I said, you can know an asshole that treats people bad no matter what industry it's in, and they'll be fucking multi-millionaires living to their 80s and being fucking grumpy and shit. And for like 20 years you've been saying, why doesn't that fucker just die? Yeah. And they never do.
Maybe being on Earth is punishment in and of itself. We just don't know it until we actually aren't here.
I've always said that. I've always said, people say you go to heaven, heaven's up there and hell's down here. Well, if you're in heaven, hell would be Earth, because you're saying down there. Right. So if heaven's is such a wonderful thing, right now on Earth we think it's nice and this and that. You have good and bad days and shit. But if you finally get up there, you'd be like, fuck, that Earth was fucking hell compared to up here, isn't it?
That was tough. So, it was a tough.
Hey, we've just worked out the meaning of life, and I wonder if you're in heaven and you look down, is the Earth round or flat?
Jimmy will find out once and for all. Yeah, right.
I did like that post you put up, because I did comment on it on buys and tries, I think I've had over 500 likes because I got pissed off when people were complaining that Iain's going to do the next show. I'm like, he's a pro bodybuilder, I said. He's meant to make money. That's what he does.
Yep.
And people are saying he's stopping someone qualifying. I'm like, well, if that person's good enough to beat him, they'll qualify. If you can't beat Iain at this show, you're not going to beat him at the Olympia. So what are you complaining about? The Olympia is the best of the best. To get there, you got to beat some of the best. And if you can't get in it, wait for next year. But what other sport does someone sit out to say, you know what, I've won a few tennis tournaments, you go ahead. Or the Patriots. The Patriots, we've won a few Super Bowls. We're going to play shit this year and give another team a chance. You're like, that's what you do. Back in when we were competing, I hate to say, but here we go back when in the 90s and shit, many guys did shows. I'd go to shows thinking, oh, fuck, there's Kevin, there's Flex, there's Chris. There's the top three. So it didn't bother me, though. You still competed because you still would make money. But then on the odd chance, like San Francisco, I came in a bit harder. Chris was second, Dexter third. So there are shows where if you come in on, you can still beat them, and that's the name of the game.
Right. Well, also, too, if you're that good that you're missing by one spot and you're coming in second behind Iain, well, if you do 3 shows and Iain beats you at 3 shows and you're second at 3 shows, you'll qualify on points for the Olympia. So that's why you do multiple shows. That's why the point system was enacted, to get more guys to compete more often. Right? I mean, isn't that the reason?
I just couldn't believe the mentality of people getting mad at him going, oh, he's stopping other people going to the Olympia. I'm like, really? It's like, oh, well, hold on, Hamilton Lewis, you've won 7 championships. How about you ease up on the accelerator? Give a few of these other guys a chance. Give them a chance on the podium. Some of those poor bastards have been racing cars for 15 years and never been on the podium. There's some baseball teams that have never won, the World Series in baseball. How about you fucking good teams? Just ease up a bit. Give some of these other teams a chance. Or here's Usain Bolt. Man, hold on. I'll just slow down. Come on.
Yeah, come on, guys.
I've won this. I've won this before.
Well, these bikini competitors are mad at Ashley Kaltwasser because she's been doing I think she won 10 shows this year already, and she's done like 15 shows. She might have come in second a couple of times. And I'm like, you know what? If she can peak that many times and win that many shows and be that dominant, who's better than her? You know?
Exactly. And let's just say, okay, these people get upset of her doing that. She goes, okay, I won't do this show. I'll just wait to the Olympia. That girl that wins that show and gets to the Olympia, guess what? You're not going to beat her at the Olympia. No. So tough luck. It's like this is almost everyone gets a trophy. I need a first place. I want to be solidified in this. No, if you're not good enough, maybe you shouldn't have got your pro card to begin with. So hand the thing back and go play darts, you prick.
How do you think Milos won? Milos did like 100 shows, right? Or something like that, over 100 shows in his career.
Look at Dexter.
He didn't do 2 shows a year. He obviously was doing 10 shows a year or 15 shows a year. That's how he did it.
Yeah. But I think I was even listening to when Iain's on that show, Fuad, and that he was saying doing this because he's got these 2 shows, and I think then the Arnold is a good practice for, like, I think when the Olympia comes around and stuff like that, or I think before, no, he's got this one and that one. I think that's similar, he said, so when he does the Arnold, which is getting close to the Olympia, he can, like, see how his dieting goes and experiment with these 2 leading up to the other big 2, which is what you do. It's like you don't just...
Not to mention, if you have stage fright and you have a lot of nervousness about doing this, which Iain has admittedly said that he does get stressed out before a show, doing multiple shows kind of almost makes you numb to the whole equation, and it becomes just second nature. The best thing that I ever did was when I started doing a lot of guest posings. When I would go on stage at these big shows, I wasn't getting nervous anymore because I was so used to getting on stage. It became like almost like second nature for me. And they don't have guest posings anymore. No one guest poses. So for Iain to do multiple shows, I think it is a smart move. So when he gets to the Olympia, he's not going to be as nervous. He's going to kind of be comfortable with the process.
And like I said, doing that other show, like, okay, the show we just won, I think he looked great, but I think that wasn't his best. So... he can take whatever he learned from that show into this next show in Texas and do things up. Because imagine if that was the Arnold where he came in looking like that. That would be like even though he looked good at the Arnold, that would be like a big mistake and you could slip quite a few placings. So if you're going to make a mistake, do it in the smaller shows, learn from that. So now when you get to the Arnold and the Olympia, you can pretty much hit it 100%, which you're going to need to be in those 2 shows for people to get mad at him and just bitch and complain, oh, he's stopping people. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Not to mention that he gets to go against a really good competitor in Steve Kuklo. So if he beats Kuklo there, that also raises his stock up. if Kukla beats him, that's going to raise Kukla's stock. It makes the show way more exciting too.
Exactly. And to me, like back in the day when you'd have people like that, you knew if you knew Flex was in the show or Chris was in the show, you knew you had to come into that show at your best. So I'm sure Steve now going into that, knowing Iain's there, Iain's qualified, Iain's going to come in looking good, that's going to make Steve probably come in at his best. Yeah. So, you know, having competition like that only makes the other people better. If you're going into that show with the attitude, oh, he's taking a spot away, you shouldn't even fucking go because mentally you've defeated yourself to begin with if that's your fucking attitude.
Yeah.
That's what I say, Dave.
I agree 100%, and I'm glad you said it because I didn't even think about bringing that topic up, but it is an important topic, and I think that people have to understand that, you know, in today's day, first of all, there's nothing wrong with making money too. Why not? If you have the ability to win a show and put a few bucks into your pocket, you know, contest prep is not cheap. So
and it's his job. It's his job.
It's his job. Let him. He's in shape. He's going to do the Arnold anyway. He's not shutting it down to the Olympia. So do another show. Why not? It's one more week. He doesn't have to. It probably is super easy for him at this point. You know.
Well, that's the thing. Look what you got to go through to get in shape. If there's a couple of shows there, that's why we did it like in the old days with the Ironman, the Arnold, the San Francisco. Those three were back to back, and then we had the European tours. If you're in shape, you've gone through all that hell. You've suffered. Your family's probably suffered. Your friends have suffered. If you've got shows back to back and you can make whether it's 10 grand, 15 grand, whatever, but also get your name out there more, that's what you do. You're a professional. You compete. That's your job. It's like, come on, people. And these same people that are probably complaining were probably the same little bitches a month before going, oh, these pros don't compete enough. Why did they only do one show? Why did they only do this? He should do more shows. What the fuck is doing two? Fuck him. He's got to stop my man. He's got to stop my man get the qualification. Oh, fucking hell.
No, Lee, you know, no one's ever happy. Everyone's always complaining about everything. If he didn't compete, they'll say he didn't compete enough. If he competes, they're going to say he's taking away a placing from someone. You know, you got to do your own thing. And you know what? If you can peak multiple times and look your best and win shows and bring home prize money, then I say go for it. And I know there's a lot of people that back that.
Especially with bodybuilding, because, you know, most sports, when you're putting your body through this, you've only got, you know, unless you're someone genetically great like Dexter who can, you know, have that longevity, but not many people have super longevity. We've seen a lot of people like Iain around his age come and go within 5 or 6 years, but hopefully Ian's going to be around longer than that. So you've got to make that money while you can, put away for a rainy day, because heaven forbid, you can be young, whatever. I hope I'm not disturbing you, Dave, from your phone there. You can be
John Romano's had a granddaughter born yesterday. So
I got my political show later today with Romano.
Oh, you did?
So, yes. Real Lee Priest on YouTube. You can watch John Romano and I. We had a guest on. We had Greg Valentino on, but he couldn't get his camera to work, so we just had a photo of Greg we're talking to. So. Yeah, but as I was saying, what was I saying?
That first of all, Tyler, how long do you think that show will be up on YouTube before they remove it from YouTube? His John Romano political show. Maybe a week or two.
Hey, we're up to 4 episodes. Guess what? We haven't had one thumbs down, and all the comments have been positive. Said, John, what are we doing wrong here?
How many views you got?
They're just into the 1,000 area. So
that's pretty good.
There's like ones like 1,500.
That's because the other side that hates you haven't seen the show yet. It's only the fans that of the show that have seen it. Yeah.
Well, I've only got like probably 6,000 followers on my YouTube because I never used it. I just never used it. And now I can't really publicize I got it because
then they'll ban you,
on Instagram are gone. So, but I had another topic I was going to bring up, but now it slipped my mind. What was it? That's it. Yes, thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much. I am now proudly sponsored by XT Labs Mexico.
Oh, you did get the sponsorship. Congratulations.
Yes.
Now here's the question: how do they get you your stuff? You know, are they digging a tunnel under the ocean to get to you?
Dave, if I'm not here next week, I'm in jail.
They're digging from Mexico to Australia. They're digging a tunnel just for Lee.
Yeah. So, but they're going to send me the T-shirt so I can do some photos.
Yeah.
And he says, we'll send you some stuff too. I said,
no, don't send me any stuff. Yeah.
He showed me the package. It's been packaged up. So it's like, if I'm not here next week, well, normally I know some people have got stuff sent. You get a warning first. You get a warning, but after
The
that
Australian cartel may pick you up, Lee, for questioning, you know.
I said, here's an idea. Go get some fancy Mexican olive oil bottles of virgin olive oil and just fill the virgin olive with Sus 250.
Yeah.
Fill this olive oil bottle with Deca.
Yeah, and you're good to go. You don't need anything else. Yeah.
And just put cooking supplies on it.
There you go.
Look, he's getting imported oils from.
You just gave away your whole game plan now to the government right now.
Okay, what about bath oils or massage oils? Just
or bath salts. You know, you could be popping bath salts. You could be sniffing them all day.
Bath salts.
Well, congratulations on your new sponsorship. Hopefully, they'll take care of you. Lee might be living in Mexico, Tyler, sooner than we thought. So they're going to kick him out of Australia.
There's a pro show on in Mexico in October. They wanted me to come over for it, but right now I think USA it's not allowing flights from Australia still. And I think there was one flight to Mexico, but it went from here.
I thought you can go to Australia to Mexico. That's a green zone, isn't it? Or green?
You can, Dave, but you got to go this way. So it's like almost Germany, France. You're coming around, and the tickets, the cheapest tickets, 15,000 from 15 to 30,000.
Well, the cartel's flying you over, so what do you care? You're not paying for it.
They should have their own jet.
All right, I got to wrap this up. I got work to do. Lee, love you, man. Good show, and congratulations on your new sponsorship. Hopefully, your lockdown won't be affecting you in any way whatsoever. Luckily, you got the home gym going on. So,
it's funny, Dave. I always generally train by myself and that, but now the gyms are shut. Guess what? Lee's got friends again. They come to my house and train.
Don't tell anyone you're not allowed. That you can be fined for that, can't you?
I found this too when I was in cleaning out. Look.
Didn't he tell us they're not allowed?
I'll have to show you.
Come over.
I'll have to show you the photos next time. But I found photos of when I was 19, younger, family photos, everything. But this would be me. This would be me next week when I get an order from Mexico. We have the house. We have the house surrounded. Lee Priest coming out. Put the weapons down. Coming out the house. The house is surrounded. Give up. Come out with your hands up.
Put your dumbbells down and come out with your hands up. You know what the sad part is? I have the same thickened horn as he does. I got the same.
But next week I'm going to do the whole show through our horns, okay?
I always wanted to get one of those because when I went to summer camp over the summers as a kid, the guy who ran the director of the camp always had that. He'd always make the announcements on that loudspeaker thing.
Dave Palumbo, no running. We've told you no running, Dave Palumbo. Go sit on the chair. Sit on the chair. You've been warned 3 times. Palumbo, to the chair. Sit down.
Like I said.
Palumbo, stop fingering that girl behind the tree. Stop fingering her behind the tree. We see you, Palumbo. Stop finger popping. Stop finger popping. Get over there. Hold on. Here they come again.
All right.